Yeah.
SJC-11559, DeWoe W. Smallwood, the Attorney General.
Good afternoon. You may begin.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. May it please the court, my name is Joroge Kamau, here on behalf of the appellant, Mr. Smallwood. Your Honor, this case is before the court pursuant to MGLC section, chapter 211 and section 3. Your Honor, the facts in this case, Mr. Smallwood is before this court because of what he believes to be the fact that his trial rights were thwarted at the trial court over 2 cases in Worcester. Mr. Smallwood bought property, 212 Austin Street in Worcester in 1994. At that point, he was the sole owner of the property. In 1997, his then ex-girlfriend filed a restraining order, and Mr. Smallwood was forced out of his house. At that point, he was never given an opportunity to carry anything. He left his personal property, including his father's deed to the property that is located in Liberia. Subsequent to that, Your Honors, Mr. Smallwood was a defendant in 2 cases in the Worcester Probate Court and another one at the Worcester Superior Court. And essentially, these cases were filed by the plaintiff, who was his ex-girlfriend, to establish ownership of the property on 212 Austin Street. At the request of the plaintiff, the court bifurcated the case into 3 phases. There was an ownership phase, an accounting phase, and what Mr. Smallwood believes to be declaratory judgment phase. Mr. Smallwood believes that he would never afford an opportunity to present his case. There was a judgment in 2002 declaring that Mr. Smallwood co-owned his house with his ex-girlfriend. When that judgment came down, Mr. Smallwood timely appealed that judgment and provided a transcript to the court. There were other subsequent judgments in the case. That was in 2004. There was a judgment on the accounting phase of the case, and I'm providing this information based on the transcript that and the affidavit that Mr. Smallwood filed with the court as well. Mr. Smallwood also timely appealed the 2004 decision and provided a transcript. while he was waiting for the case to go on appeal, in 2006, there was another hearing ordered on the same case by a different judge. And following that hearing, there were new orders that were entered by the court, leading up to an order in 2007 in which the court ordered his property to be sold. Mr. Smallwood complains that at that point he was never given an opportunity to have an appraisal or even know what the actual price of the house would be, whether there was any listing agent to be appointed by the court. And also, when he got that order from the court, he appealed it because he didn't feel that justice was, he was afforded justice in that case. Subsequently, in 2010, his house was sold to his ex-girlfriend at a price of $79,239. He never got any information about the actual sale. There was a master who was appointed to sell this house, never communicated with Mr. Smallwood. Mr. Smallwood only came to learn about the sale of the house in 2011, a year later after the property had already been sold.
Now, your time's getting short.
Yes.
Tell us whether or not he appealed those matters and what you're asking of us to do now,
Yes.
so many years later.
What Mr. Smallwood is seeking from this court today, under the powers that this court has pursuant to Section 211, that means Chapter 211, Section 3, is to order a review of the whole case, how the case was conducted. He feels that this court has the powers to correct wrongs that have been faced by litigants, especially in a case like this where Mr. Smallwood was a pro se litigant in all these cases. He believes that this court has statutory powers to be able to help him redress what he believes was a denial of justice.
What has happened in those appeals? Were they pursued? You said he appealed each of these various rulings, or
Yes.
have they not been pursued?
Nothing ever happened.
Nothing happened, meaning that
No.
he did not prosecute the appeal and that they were dismissed, or that he did not win on appeal?
He tells me he filed notice of appeal, and I've seen the actual notices, and he tells me he provided transcripts, but he's never heard from the appeals court regarding those notices of appeals that he filed.
Okay. Did he file them in the trial court or in the appeals court?
He filed them in the trial court with timely, he tells me.
Okay. Have you checked with the appeals court to see if they were ever subsequently filed there, or if they ever were transferred there, or is it just not known?
I have not, Your Honors, specifically checked, but what he tells me is that he checked with the appeals court, and he was told that there was never any record of his appeals being presented there.
So he didn't actually file, because it's a two-step process, he didn't file an appeal in the appeals court?
Yes.
He did not.
He filed
He
a
filed
notice of appeal
In the trial court?
in the trial court.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Your Honors.
All right.